What's going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV. I've got some breaking news for you all to deliver right now, and it's coming from David Ornstein. He has just tweeted out that Reiss Nelson informs Arsenal he wants to assess options for potential transfer this summer. Arsenal Football Club rejected approaches in January, plus would want 20 million, including add-ons, if they decide to sell Crystal Palace, Fulham, Nottingham Forest, and West Ham among the 24-year-old wingers suitors. So some of those names of those clubs, by the way, I think it'll be good. It's a good signing. So that's the news. David Ornstein just released it. It's kind of going around as we speak right now that Reiss Nelson is wanting to assess his options to make a move come this summer. For me personally, I'm just going to give you guys some insight. I'm not massively surprised by this news. You may see on my social media, literally about 2 weeks ago, I was with Reiss Nelson in South London at a youth football project. He does a lot of youth work. He owns a few pitches in South London and gives back to the youth through a company called Mentivity. I was there with him on a day. It's information that I'm first revealing on AFTV because I think now is the right time, because it makes sense, because the news is now out there that he's looking to assess his options. I spoke to him, and the main conversation that was talking about was the fact that Jamaica want him to sign over his allegiance to them and him play for Jamaica. When I asked him about it, he said, yeah, they've been chasing me. Obviously with my work with CONCACAF, I know the people at JFF, and they are looking to get Reiss Nelson signed over to Jamaica. So I said to him, will you be changing your allegiance anytime soon? His response was, I'll be honest, Cecil, I just want to have a full run in a club, a full season at a club, before I make any decisions. So he has aspirations, I'm sure, to represent England or represent England at the highest level. So that's probably why he wants a full season at a club. So when he kind of mentioned that, I kind of got the feeling that Arsenal weren't going to be the club that he's going to be, going to get that full run, a full season at playing first team football. So that kind of made me think, okay, you're going to look to maybe make a move and maybe to another club. And then get a full season in. And now hearing this news, to me, like I mentioned before, wasn't a massive surprise. The fact Arsenal are wanting around 20 million plus add-ons, again, to me, also isn't really a surprise. I think what I've read online and through the media, with this news breaking, that people are quite surprised that, that Arsenal want such quite high fee. But I remember we sold Balogun not too long ago. He went for 25 million. Hadn't really done much at Arsenal. Obviously, his loan spell was really good at Reims, and it kind of got the buzz around him and his name, and that's probably why his fee was quite high. But 25 million, I think, is quite high. Same with Joe Willock. I think it was like mid-20s as well when he went to Newcastle. Another Halem boy. So that is kind of the figure that I think's fair. Reiss Nelson's obviously, he has achieved stuff at Arsenal. He's been part of FA Cup teams. He has featured in Arsenal fixtures and won games for Arsenal. The one that obviously stands out, the clear one, the Bournemouth winner in the dying minutes. So that is a fond memory of Reiss Nelson that I think most people would remember and would say, he has got quality. And let's not forget, when he was in the academy, when he was in the at Hale End, he was the original star boy. He was the one that everyone was talking about. He was always playing up above his ages. He was deemed to be the next big thing. And this is not to diminish Reiss Nelson, because he is a quality player, a player very technically gifted, very skillful, can be a man, very composed on the ball. Let's not forget the ability he has, but he was the original star boy for me, from what we heard when he was coming through. But obviously didn't hit those heights. One on, I think, 2 loan spells. Hoffenheim, and I think Feyenoord as well. I think in Feyenoord he had a really good loan spell there, but was really trying to get his grips to first team football. So for me, he is a quality player. He's a player that deserves, in my opinion, Premier League football, and rightly so. He's still young. He's 24 years old, and obviously with that conversation I spoke about earlier, he obviously wants to be playing international football and for his nation, whether that's going to be Jamaica or England. But he wants a shot at that, and rightly so. Like I said, he's a quality player. I think just where Arsenal have been of late, when we're challenging for titles, with the Premier League, we're challenging for other majors as well. It may not have been the right time for Reiss Nelson to get a really good run in this team, even though I actually believe he is of quality. I think it's a bit of a risk to bring Reiss Nelson straight in, and what we haven't seen him being trusted enough. We've seen him get literally minimal minutes towards the end of games in the Arsenal side, especially last season, where he was available for a lot of the season. So yeah, it's only right. And some of the clubs that we mentioned that are interested, Crystal Palace, I think, he's a South London boy, grew up around there. He's got family, friends are still there. A lot of the people he's still around, whether it's his management, and his close friends are still his friends from when he was young, because I was lucky enough to meet them all a couple of weeks ago as well. So South London, Crystal Palace seems like the right idea. I know Eddie Nketiah as well has been kind of linked to that club as well in the past, and you may even see an Eddie and Reiss Nelson go over to Crystal Palace. Fulham, again, South London's club, a good club, play great football, a great place to be, I think, as well, for Reiss Nelson. I think that's another great club for him to fit into and really be a starter in that side. Nottingham Forest, again, they have a lot of young players in there, good breed of players. Morgan Gibbs White and players like that. I think he'd be fitting in really well there, Reiss Nelson. And then lastly, West Ham. West Ham, I don't know about West Ham. Maybe that could be a good fit for him. But for me, I think the ones that stand out are the South London clubs, Crystal Palace and Fulham. And I think if the club can get it done, I think it'll be good business. Now, the reason why I say Crystal Palace as well is a good club. It was obviously South London based, but I mean, Eze's there. And I don't want to do the whole, listen, Reiss Nelson is a superb player. I don't have to mention that. I'm sure we all follow Arsenal. We know how good of a player he is. I think Eze, maybe, I don't know if listen, we don't see many swap deals. I haven't seen many swap deals of late, especially in transfer windows, but an Eze for Reiss Nelson. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you be happy with that? I know I certainly would. Eze is one of my targets that I think Arsenal should be looking at. Probably over Elise as well, and I think he'd fit in where he plays in that 8 role. So that is something that came straight to my mind. Crystal Palace, Eze, a swap deal. If not 20 million, I think it's a good amount of money for Reiss Nelson, 20 million with add-ons. Plus, remember, he's a Hale End product. He is an academy player, so we get full profit of this player. It does bode the question, though, the rest of the Hale End boys, the likes of Emile Smith-Rowe, what's happening with him if Reiss Nelson goes, if Eddie goes, another Hale End boy. Do we look to keep one of the young stars that we're kind of relying on? We've seen in the past that have got quality and may need another year, may need an extra year to see if they can either up their value or play a big part in the next season. For me, I'll be looking to keep Emile Smith-Rowe. But do you agree with that? Another question for you all. Do you agree to keep some of the Hale End boys or sell them all? It's full profits. It can be reinvested into this window. It's a big window. Arsenal need to go big in this window because at the end of the day, there's a lot of pressure on Mikel Arteta to bring in silverware this season. So what do? Do you sell all 3 of them, Emile Smith-Rowe, Eddie Nketiah and Reiss Nelson? Or do you look to hold on to one of them? But yeah, that is the news of the day. Reiss Nelson, we know a player that we're all familiar with, is open to options of a potential transfer this summer. This has come from David Ornstein. They rejected approaches in January. We didn't really speak about that. Let's just briefly touch on that, though. Arsenal rejected offers in January for him. I wonder what those... I'm assuming some of the offers were the clubs that have been mentioned in the tweet by David Ornstein, but was it right to hold on to him in January? I'm now questioning it. Is it something that we could have... No one really made transfers in January because of financial fair play, and no one really made sales or made purchases of players. But should we have maybe looked to have done it then and brought in someone, maybe a striker? Maybe did we hold on to him in a time where we could have upgraded the squad? That's something that I'm gonna ponder on as well, because would it have been right to sell him then, strengthen the squad, and we might have had a different result by the end of the season? Maybe we would have, maybe we wouldn't have. But we held on to him. I suppose that may have increased his value, but I think 20 million that's what they're Arsenal looking for. I think that is a fair price for Reiss Nelson, a very technically gifted player, still young, 24 years old. I don't think his injury history is that bad either. And I think he'll do really well in the Premier League. He's done his stints abroad on loan. I think he's right to be in a Premier League side and deserves, like he said to me, a run in the team in a full season. So if he does go, nothing's confirmed yet. Good luck to Reiss Nelson, and we wish him all the best. But that is the news. 20 million with add-ons. Arsenal are open to hear options as well as Reiss Nelson for a move this summer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. And as you've heard from many of the presenters on AFTV, stay up to date with all of the transfer news and business. And not to forget, the Euros here on AFTV will be covering everything from the Arsenal players that are away for the Euros, as well as all the breaking news from transfers. You'll hear it here either first or as soon as it breaks here on AFTV. So make sure you stay locked in and tune into Transfer Daily, where you see Robbie every morning going through the top rumours around an Arsenal transfer. Big up, everyone. Hopefully we'll see you soon, and I'll see you then. Take care. Peace.